Here we go. Let's see if this is working. It says waiting. Okay. Come on. Yeah, okay, looks like we're up and running. Yes, it's a surprise. I had to get it done at some point though, to be fair. Oh, okay. Welcome to the first race of the second half of this GT7 season. This is still season 13. We're in tier 3. We're not in tier 2, which I always make that mistake at the start of every comms. Um, Laguna Seca is the track today, so the only low speed track on the calendar. When we made the track, there wasn't actually a difference in car, like performance bop wise, between medium, low, and high speed, but they have started introducing the low speed a little bit, a couple of tweaks here and there to try and make some of the uh, slower cars around low speed tracks a little bit more competitive, I guess. And they're doing the same with the high speed, for example. That Aston Martin Vantage, famous for being the slowest in a straight line, got quite a big high speed buff. So I don't think it's going to be as bad as it would have been otherwise in the next track at Le Mans. But here at Laguna, there hasn't been many low speed adjustments, just the odd little tweak or two. Nothing major between the cars yet. That might change in the future. So let's go through the grid whilst people are joining. So in last place we've got Mode. He is, I think he's Saeed's brother actually, who races a Tier 4. This is only his second round that he's ever raced in. The first one was months and months ago, maybe like 6 months ago. And we popped him in tier 3 after passing the evaluation, and it looks like he was struggling in qualifying. He was actually quite a way off even P12, which was OG Moose King. So the Vipers looking to have a bit of a worse run in qualifying here. Moose King we're used to seeing in the top 5 at qualifying, and then he drops away a little bit in the races, but maybe he can do the opposite in the sprint race, starting P12. P11 major in the Corvette, so just like the Vipers, the Corvette does struggle around the low speed. Obviously, these cars have massive engines which blast past people on the straights and make overtaking them really difficult. But when you have a track where it's all corners, uphill, downhill, or tricky technical things, these big American cars are struggling, and you can see that in qualifying because he is 11th, and we see him in the top 5 as well. Kanata in P10 as well, so got the better of Moose King this week in qualifying, but again, not the best time overall. Then we got JMS Play in the Peugeot in P9. Pretty good qualifying there for JMS. I think he's been outside the top 10 a couple of times this season, but we want to try and make a step forward, or potentially could be a candidate for maybe a demotion to tier 4 next season. We'll have to see who signs up and how the rest of the season pans out, though. Next to P8 in the GTR, so he hasn't raced since Bathurst, I think. So he's back, and he got a pretty good result in the feature race at Bathurst, so maybe could do something similar. Then we got Whack Jamps in P7 in the McLaren. Obviously, the McLaren has a good tyre life, but didn't have too much fun around the corners here. Then we've got G-Dan coming back after, I think, a week off. He's in P6 in the Mercedes. Obviously, Mercedes one of the quickest cars around here, so no surprise to see two of them in the top 6. Tap in the second Peugeot fresh from his victory in the feature race last week. He is only P5 on the grid, so he can't keep up that momentum, at least in qualifying, but he could make his way through the pack. We'll have to see how he does. Hurricane, the first Toyota FT1. I'm quite surprised to see that FT1's so fast, to be honest. I've never rated it as a car, but maybe because the GR Supra is just slightly better than it. I just don't think about it. But yeah, 2 in the top 4 for the FT1 guys. Higgsy P3 in the other Mercedes. So out qualifying G-Dan, which is a pretty good session for him. I think this might be his highest qualifying of the season as well. Let's see what Pagel is saying. Okay. Spoiler alert. Okay, who have we got in second place?
Oh, who's that? It's Pyro.
And in first place, we've got Pagel, who I don't know if this is his first pole of the season, actually. It wouldn't surprise me if it was his second. In the FT1 again, a great qualifying time for him. He did say in chat just now, this was very lucky quali lap for me. Didn't even realize it until the last 2 seconds that I was about to be on pole. So pretty good. It was quite a strong lap as well. I think it would have qualified comfortably in the top 5 in tier 2, I want to say. Not 100% sure because I did check quite a few days ago. But it was quite a competitive lap time and really solid. Yeah, solid front row. It's difficult to see who's going to win. I think the top 7 are all capable of getting race wins here. And then yeah, it's there's a bit of a gap. But I think in maybe pace a little bit for the rest of the grid. But let's see how it goes. Let's get the race up and running. We've got Pagel on pole in the Toyota versus Pyro in P2 in the McLaren, and we're off, and it looks like a very, very good start from Pagel. Looks like we're 3 wide between Higgsy, Tap and Hurricane down as we head down into turn 1. It's about to cut 4 wide because Pyro's getting caught up in it as well. Pyro takes the inside line, kind of bumps Pagel around the corner. It looks like Hurricane's trying to go all the way around the outside. Looks fairly clean into turn 1 and 2 there. Pagel first, Pyro second, Hurricane third, and someone's gone off track. That is G-Dan. Oh, okay, we got our first spin of the day. So he was in that little gaggle fighting for P3 really, and it looks like he's having a little drag race down into the next corner with, he just goes off track all on his own there. Put his rear wheel into the dirt, and that puts him right at the back. We got nice little 3-way battle into this right-hander here. And Moose King might be able to get 2 cars here. Good little start there from Mode. He's up into P10. He brakes very early for that corner though. And that allowed Majors to just really get alongside it. Kind of ruined Moose King's attempt there. But let's go back to the front. We've got Pyro's managed to get past Hurricane somewhere on lap. Oh no, I think he was already ahead. Then we got a drag race between Tap and Higgsy. Are they going to make it? Tap's actually... this was actually reported to the stewards, and we did just rule it no further action. So let's rewind that again, because this was, in my opinion, a completely accidental overtake. So Tap's more worried about Higgsy than Hurricane, and he's just a little bit too, well, I wouldn't even say late on the brake. He needed to be a bit earlier because of the positioning of his car, and he makes the apex like quite beautifully, to be honest, as we have Higgsy now battling with JMS just behind, and Whackjam's getting in there as well. Wacko's very late on the brakes, and JMS is something happens to him, and he's ended up on the sand there, and it looks like it's going to be a drag race between 3 cars. Kanata really in the mix here as well as we head into turn 1 and start lap 2 of the race. It feels much longer because there's been lots of incidents already. A little bit of contact there between the cars in front, braking into turn 1, and it looks like JMS wins that battle for now, and Kanata's just tucked in behind them, obviously expecting him to lose a bit of pace around these twisty corners, but if you can stay close enough towards the end of the lap, you could get an overtake done. Let's go a little bit further forward. So Pagel gapping Pyro pretty nicely here. He's got maybe a 2-second gap at the moment, I would guess. And then Tap just ahead of Hurricane, so he's managed to get past Hurricane at that corkscrew moment there, and he's not driving away at the moment from the second Toyota. This is going to be a great day for Toyota if they can finish like this in terms of the constructors, first and fourth at the moment. Oh, someone, a little bit of wheel screeching, nothing to worry about. We've got Wack in P5, JMS in 6th, Higgsy's still pretty close behind, and Kanata close behind as well. Then Major in 9th, and Mode is still in 10th place there. Pyro's still stuck on one race win. Yeah, he's got like a win percent ratio of 0.5%, less than 0.5%, because he's approaching 200 races without a win, Kanata. Auto, sorry. Yeah, Kanata, you could just see the straight is just not long enough for that Viper to mount an overtaking challenge, really. Although Higgsy got that turn very wrong, and Kanata's going to stick it up the inside, and he backs out of it. Higgsy keeps P7. Kanata might come under pressure a little bit from the Corvette behind as well. And Major takes that position pretty well there. That was a good overtake for Major. G-Dan recovering into 10th place now after his excursion off the track. So we've had issues for Nectar and Moose King at the back there as well. So Pagel's lead now is, he's definitely extending it. He's obviously got the fastest lap from the previous lap as well, a 21.9. So that's a good opening, well, second lap of the race. Pyro 22.8, so he was nearly a full second behind Pagel there. And yeah, Tap started reeling in a little bit as well. So let's follow Pagel and see what lap time he sets here. So we can gauge. So he's a 22.2, a little bit slower. 21.7 for Pyro. That's a half a second quicker there. Same for Tap, 21.7. 22 flat for Hurricane, falling back a little bit. Wack also falling back with a 22.6. GMS played 22.1, so reeling in Wack by half a second there, and leaving Higgsy behind a little bit. And then we have these guys in the 23s because they were fighting for the lower end of the top 10. So G-Dan currently on reverse grid pole as it stands, but he's looking to recover after that opening sector problem that he had, and I think he could probably get a few more positions before the end of the race, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. Let's join this battle for first, because Pyro at the moment reeling in Pagel. Obviously Pyro's just got that one race win to his name, plenty of podiums including this season. He is still in the championship hunt despite not winning any of the races this season. Very, very open championship because Woozy, our championship leader, is missing this round, so he's going to potentially get overtaken by one or two drivers here and set us up for a really exciting final few races, to be honest. One win in 174 races. Damn. That's a terrible camera angle. So let's see. Hurricanes looks like he dropped. Oh no, he's still with Tap. There's a big drop off to Wack behind. Wack at 22.9 there. So potentially going to come under the pressure from JMS. It takes that corner incredibly wide as well, does Wack. And JMS is definitely within slipstream territory now. Remember, the McLaren doesn't have good top speed. Once it gets into... Oh, a little bit wide there from JMS. Once the McLaren gets into 6th gear, it just loses all... Oh, Wack's off now as well. And there's some fights going on ahead. It looks like Hurricane's going to try and get past Pyro. What's happened to Pyro?
Oh, who's that? It's Pyro.
And that is how you will lose your spot on the podium, really. So Hurricane's going to go for a dive down the inside, which he's perfectly entitled to do after Pyro is... Yeah, he goes a bit wide, and they're still going to drag race. No, Hurricane's won that battle. So Pyro down into 4th place. He'll be kicking himself. And Tap could potentially be released, or try and do something to close the gap to Pagel. This is obviously great news for Pagel up front. He is quite substantially in the lead, and as long as he can keep his composure, he should have this sprint victory wrapped up. Pagel also obviously in the championship hunt. Tab wasn't, but he did get that feature race win. So if you could start getting consistent podiums, he could definitely be one to come through the pack, through the field towards the latter half of the season into championship contention as well. Hurricane obviously there or thereabouts as well, and he's fancying P2. Is he going to chuck one down the inside? He's a little bit far away. Tab is defending the inside anyway, so that's going to compromise the slide through this opening hairpin, and there's not going to be enough track for Hurricane to mount a charge just yet. He's going to have to try and stick to the back of Tap. Let's ride on board with Hurricane and see how he takes these next corners. Oh, really bad mistake there from Tap, and that is gifting Whack the position, and Pyro manages to get past Tap as well. So Pyro's already recovered one position there after his spin, because Tap did the exact same thing a lap later. So Pyro back on the podium. Every single lap we're seeing a change in the podium positions. Nice to see. Shame that it's because of mistakes though, and not because of fantastic overtakes. I don't think I've seen an overtake actually. Not one that wasn't assisted by someone else's mistake anyway. So now it is an FT1 1-2. I don't think these guys have had a 1-2 this season. Plenty of podiums for both of them, but this is very good news for the FT1 team. McLaren got a 1-2 in the opening sprint race of the season. Now it looks like the Toyota's going to finally respond in the first race of the second half of the season here. Pagel saying he was driving more conservative at this point. Yeah, that makes sense. 22.7, so 6/10 down on your teammate, but you can afford to do that. We're only halfway through the race though, so you can't rest on your laurels too much. You still gotta find ways to push. Oh, Pyro nearly loses it again. Oh no.
Oh, who's that? It's Pyro.
Exactly the same thing once again, and that is going to gift Tap that position back, and Tap gets back into P3 because these guys just keep making the exact same mistake in the exact same part of the track. But Pyro's pressuring Tap now. He's probably raging with himself for giving up that position not once but twice in the space of 3 laps. But Tap covered Pyro well there and has a little bit of a gap now, but I have a feeling this isn't over yet. This is quite a high tyre wear sprint race, even though we've reduced it to ×3 from ×4 a season ago. Oh, Pyro, don't do it, don't think about it. It's very easy to just chuck it on the inside there if someone takes a wide entry, but very high chance of a incident if you do try to do that as well. Pyro without mistakes could have made a serious challenge on the race win. I completely agree. He's got the fastest lap as well. He's always been either at the head of a field or right behind someone, and this is no exception here. A 24.1 and a 26 flat, so he's lost about 7 or 8 seconds probably with those 2 mistakes, and then the battling with other cars as he's trying to defend his positions into corners as well, and the dirty tyres as well, you've got to remember. But he's P4 for now. 5 minutes left of the race, and this is again is good news for Hurricane now, who manages to break away from this pack. Whack is in P5, still ahead of Higgsy. We haven't looked any further back this whole race because there's been so much going on up front. So P5 for Whack. Higgsy is 6th. Obviously he won a feature race as well. He's a race winner this season. JMS Play doing pretty good here in P7, sticking to the back of these guys. And just behind him is G-Dan, who we said was going to start recovering, and he's recovered from 10th last time we saw him to 8th now, and he's on course to set the fastest lap if he can nail these last couple of corners. Maybe benefit from some of JMS's slipstream, so let's stick with him as we head into the final corner of the lap. He misses out by a 1/10 of a second on the fastest lap, and with those tyres starting to look pretty red there, it's unlikely he's gonna be able to get another fastest lap. What's happening here? Major, Kanata, and Nectar all battling over who's going to be on reverse grid pole. A little nudge there. Major is P9 for now, and Kanata actually loses out twice there, and Nectar gets past him and into provisional pole position for the feature race there. Now what's happening a bit further up? Is Pyro going to... Well, it looks like they're both actually closing the gap a little bit on Hurricane there. He's looking a little bit closer in the front. Oh, a little moment there for Tap, and that has allowed Pyro to really close up there. Thought again about sticking his nose down the inside of that banked left-hand corner there. Now lapping in the mid-22s there. Pretty much everyone's in the mid-22s, so that's good news for Pagel. No one is closing the gap. G-Dan's actually the quickest at 22.3. Oh, something's happened to Whack. Is it? Oh dear. So easy to do on that corner. If you just carry a little bit too much speed or get on the throttle a little too early, you get propelled into the sand, and now he's got dirty tyres and he's got everyone trying to get past, and that is why he's lost 3 positions there. Down to 8th for Whack, and they're all getting away from him as well. Unfortunate for him, and the recovery for G-Dan has been pretty impressive, got to say. Let's go back to the front and see how everything's doing. I don't think... Oh, let's stick with this little battle because Pyro's managed to reel tap him once again. So I don't know if there's been another little micro mistake somewhere, but he's glued to the back of Tap as it stands. As we head into the corkscrew hairpin. We saw Tap have a little moment here, and Pyro's always very good out of that corner, it seems. Oh, no. I don't know if he's trying to scare Tap or trying to force a mistake by going offline at inopportune moments, because they're not real attempts at an overtake, and it looks like Tap didn't get a good exit there, and Pyro might be able to get the move done into turn 1. They're both hugging the inside line there, so Pyro's going to have to go around the outside. Very tight entry for Tap. He could have gone and overshot there, but he didn't. He kept it really closely hooked onto the apex, so he keeps P3 for now. Oh, little moment there for Pyro, but nothing too bad. And he takes that corner perfectly. Tap was much more conservative through that corner, and it looks like Tap's going defensive again into the next corner. This is the final lap of the race, by the way, so this is probably the time to get it done if Pyro's going to get this overtake done. Pyro's got the inside, Tap's got the next inside for the next corner though, and you can't go too wide through here. We saw Whack go off there, but they both managed to navigate it, and there's a yellow flag somewhere. I'm not sure who that was for, but it's disappeared again. Can't see any changes, and again Tap gets a really bad exit from the corkscrew compared to Pyro, and Pyro bumped into the back of him there, and now Tap defends the inside. Pyro tried to send it into the inside, and Tap said absolutely not, and now defending the final corner, and it looks like it's going to be a drag race to the finish. Pagel is going to be your race winner. Hurricane and P2, a great 1-2 for the Toyotas, and Tap just out accelerates Pyro there to get P3 right at the finish. Great ending to the race by both of them. Really good and clean racing there. Higgsy got his P5 in the end. G-Dan P6. JMS must have caused the yellow flag because he's dropped to P7. Whack 8th. Major is 9th, and Nectar gets reverse grid pole with Kanata 11th. Moose King is going to finish in 12th, and Mode in 13th, a lap down as well. That was a really, really good last lap battle between Tap and Pyro there. After them, they got the mistakes out of the way earlier on, just fighting with the gravel, and when it came to actually fighting each other, it was really good, really clean. So, I don't know, I think that must put Pagel pretty close to Woozy's points total with his win there. Let me scroll down a little bit. I'm predicting a more chaotic feature race. That didn't actually have any major spins, I don't think. We had some half spins, we had some trips in the gravel. No one absolutely planted into the wall. Hopefully that changes in this feature race. I've been advised it does. Right, let's have a check on the strategies because I'm expecting to see medium, 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 soft. Some crazy people are going to try soft, soft, and I wouldn't be surprised if you see some people doing soft, soft, soft as well. This pit lane is enormously long, but the chances of you going off track with dead tires is very high, and you'd have to do multiple laps on dead tires if you want to do one stop with the soft tires anyway. So it's if you feel it risky. So softs for Nectar, mediums for Major, which makes sense. It's the Corvette. Whack jumps on softs, mediums for JMS, softs for Gdan, softs Higgsy, softs Pyro, mediums for Tap, and Hurricane, and Pagel, and Kanata, and Moose King. And Mode did not race in the feature because he felt like he was too slow, which he kind of was. So let's get this feature race started. We got Nectar on pole position. Let's see if he can convert that into a solid result. He's in the GTR, which is pretty good around here as well, and he's on the softs, whereas Major's on the medium. So if Major backs people up a little bit, this would be absolutely great news for Nectar to start the race. You can see the Corvette is closing in into turn one because of its monstrous engine. It's always really good in feature races, but Major had to go a little bit wide into turn one there, and he's gonna maybe put his nose into turn two. That was a little bit naughty. Nectar gets away with it, and that is pulling Whack Jumps all the way up alongside Major. They're going too wide into a really tricky turn, and it looks like Whack's going to get the better of the Corvette here. Now we've got the top five all within a second there, it seems like, and Major has lost a position there to JMS as well, and Gdan is the next one to line up next to him, and this is bad news for the Corvette. He's just going backwards. He's didn't take that corner too well either, and is backing up three other cars, the two AMGs and Pyro as well. Oh, and he takes the corkscrew pretty terribly, loses that position to Gdan, and he gets a half-second penalty as well. This is the opening lap from hell for Major, and he's wide, and that is going to allow Higgsy to maybe shot one up on the inside. Nope, but he misses his braking point, and he quits. Okay, anyway, and that is the last you'll see of Major this season, because he didn't want to race anymore this season, and that is the reason why. So, what does that do to the lead of the race? We've got Nectar only just ahead of Whack, who's started fantastically here on the soft tyres as well. If he can get into the front, we know that the tyres on the McLaren can last really well, especially if neck doors start to go off. JMS up in third place, just holding off Gdan at the moment. He's going to go defensive into the next corner. Gdan trying to swoop around the outside. He might actually do it here. JMS on the mediums and Gdan on the softs, which is why you saw that superior grip, but JMS still in front for now. Oh, never mind. And now he's going to go side by side with Pyro into the corkscrew. Is he going to back out of it, or he's going to... Oh, he's got dirty tyres, and he probably took his normal braking point there. And Pyro does what he tried to do to Tap a few times, and sticks his nose in and gets the position. JMS loses it on the exit, and he's going backwards now. He's got his teammate behind him, who's going to swoop past. He gets out of the way. You saw him apply the brakes there a little bit so that Tap could get around, and he's gone deep, just like we saw Major do with those dirty tyres. And Hurricane's going to be the next one to try and get past him. So both Hurricane and Pagel up one position, but that one position is only because of Major from lap 1. Hurricane can't quite get past it, but yet he's gone deep again, probably because he's still got dirty tyres as JMS, and he's going to defend for now, but again he goes really wide with the line that he took, and Hurricane is now sufficiently alongside to be able to try and go for the move. JMS hold it around the outside pretty well there. Now Pagel is right behind Hurricane. He's going to give him a little bump draft. I don't think there was a bump draft there. And Kanata works his way up into 10th, and Moose King is currently last by a mile. What is happening with Moose King? He's just like, what, spinning every lap in the opening of the race. But let's join this battle for P1. Nectar versus Whack versus G-Dan. It looks like Higgsy's made a mistake somewhere behind. Let's see what happened to him. Oh dear, oh dear. What's going on here? Pyro's going for a move on Higgsy. And they're trying to negotiate the corkscrew, and yeah, they just both come together and go off track and spin.
Oh, who's that? It's Pyro.
And he's down to P8 as a result. He's just got bullied out of the way by 3 cars there. And yeah, good news for Hurricane, who gets past JMS and Pyro there, up into P5. Great little bit of racing there. And we've got G-Dan versus Whack Jam, so Whack can't have had the best exit on lap 3, and now it looks like G-Dan's going to get that move done and get it to 2nd place at the start of this feature. But yeah, no one's challenged Nectar yet. They're all been battling behind him. Yeah, G-Dan definitely looking like the quickest person on the track. He does have the fastest lap as well at 22.5. Despite the laps on the right not saying, oh, that's Nectar's times, that's why. Ignore me. So we got... Let's have a quick look at the tyre wear, because we're on lap 4. Nectar's tyres are a little bit worse than G-Dan's here, despite being at the front. Wax are in the best condition out of the 3, but not by that much actually. We've got a big gap to tap, maybe 3 or 4 seconds, and Hurricane, who's got a half-second penalty, that should drop him behind Pagel, and then JMS, who we saw go off track, Pyro, who we saw go off track. Kanata working his way up to 9th now just by driving solidly, kind of on his own. Dropped off a little bit from the pack, but not too far behind. Higgsy, P10, and Moose, yeah. Oh, we got a challenge for the lead, and G-Dan is gonna go for it into turn 1 just like he did against Whack. He wasn't as alongside in the braking zone, but still managed to get it done. Whack hits the gravel a little bit there on the exit of the hairpin, but G-Dan is your new race leader, and it's looking pretty good for him at the moment. Let's see if there's any battles. Oh, it's all kicking off in the battle for P6. Hurricane versus JMS versus Pyro. Hurricane is on the mediums, which might be explaining his lack of pace. He also just served a half-second penalty, which allowed Pagel to get past. Now he's probably going to be backing up these guys. Managing to keep the... Oh dear. Time for...
Oh, who's that? It's Pyro.
And that was quite a bad spin. The worst one we've seen today, actually. So that's 2 big incidents for Pyro, and he's lost loads of time. Down into 10th place out of 11. At the back with Higgsy, who we saw had a big incident as well, and this is again great news for everyone who he was battling. Great news for the Toyota boys, who are trying to catch McLaren in the Constructors' Championship at the moment. Been 5th and 6th solidly. Their next victim is going to be Tap if they can catch up to him. You can just see him just taking the next corner there. I wonder if Hurricane is feeling a little bit more racy compared to Pagel. Oh, but we got Whack closing in a little bit on Nectar now. 23.1 was his last lap compared to almost a 24 for Nectar. So expecting Whack to mount a challenge for P2 fairly soon. He's going to have to as well if he wants to be in with a shout for the race win here, because he's probably the favourite if he can get past Nectar, and if he can start to close the gap into Gdan when the tyres start going off for that Mercedes. Everyone carrying on for another lap. So we've got another couple of laps, I'd say, until the window opens for the two stoppers. Maybe 3 laps. Depends how much of an undercut they want on the rest of the field. Problem is with this track, of course, is it is very difficult to get an overtake done if the car in front doesn't make an error, and you risk just being at the head of a very long train because the straights aren't long enough, and it's very difficult to go 2 by 2 in these kind of corners. It's gone on a bit further back. Pyro not really chasing down Higgsy. He will have had overheating and dirty tyres to contend with though. His tyres are, well, actually they're in much worse nick than Higgsy, I've got to say. Look at the front right in comparison, both front tyres. So actually that Mercedes having pretty good tyre wear. And then at the front, Gdan is starting to gap Nectar now, who is probably a little bit more concerned about Whack in his rear view mirror than catching back up to Gdan. Yeah, Whack is definitely getting held up at this point. He should be comfortably in the 22s every lap, and he's at a 23.1 the last 2 laps. Actually, he's not set at 22 at any point. Tap's still on his own at the moment, but it does look like, well, actually he's lapping the exact same pace as Pagel right now, and Hurricane laps all of them 23 flats. And then half a second down for JMS, so he's dropping off the back of the Toyotas a little bit. And Kanata, yeah, like I said, he's just slightly off the pack all race long so far. Slightly slower, but everyone else is making mistakes and he's not, which is working out pretty nice for him. Pyro at 22 flat is the quickest. Well, Pyro and Higgsy are actually way quicker than the whole rest of the field, to be honest. 22.2 for Higgsy and a 22 flat for Pyro, which is his fastest lap of the race. He's going to be wanting to do that basically consistently for the rest of the race if he's going to salvage a result here. He's still not too far back behind a bunch of cars which he could potentially overtake in the pits as long as he avoids any more spins. Let's wait and see if that happens or not. Meanwhile, Nectar and Whack still really close together. Nectar still holding off Whack. We are in the final corner, so if Whack can really nail it, he could reel him in, but look, you could tell Nectar's got a little bit better exit, and now the slipstream starts to kick in and Whack is going to go for it into turn 1. He's nailed the apex there. Now he just has to keep it. Yeah, he's done it. He's managed to keep Nectar from trying to get a switch back there and try to get on the inside before turn 2, because even if you just got part of your car alongside, you've lost the corner if you're on the outside heading into that second turn. And that's great news for Whack. Now he can focus on chasing down Gdan. Now everyone's pretty spaced out at the moment. So 23.2 was Gdan's last lap. Whack at 23.2 as well, so he's gonna have to start reeling Gdan in, which I think he could do. Actually, they've got very similar tyre wear, these two cars. So that Mercedes is very good on tyre wear at a track like this at least. High corners, lots of undulations, lots of slow corners, lots of cambered corners. Just oh, Nectar's in the pits, so he has come in at the end of lap 9, so he's definitely on a 2-stopper. He did make that work pretty well in practice when I was in a practice lobby with him. He finished ahead of a bunch of higher tier drivers doing this strategy, so he hasn't put a foot wrong so far, and he's going to get a massive undercut on these guys, so when these top 2 eventually come in, Nectar should end up comfortably ahead. Well, the Toyotas are very close together still. No one else seems to be too close. Higgsy is now nearly on the back of Kanata. And what's happened to Pyro? Here we go again.
Oh, who's that? It's Pyro.
That is an identical spin to the one we saw 2 or 3 laps ago. And that puts him, well, that lost him 10 seconds on that lap. So that's another 10 seconds to add. Oh, what kind of attempted turn 1 was that? That very, very bizarre. And there's Nectar, who's actually made a full pit stop. So Pyro's basically a full pit stop behind the race leaders at this point. And he's on the gravel again. Just every corner making mistakes here. This guy is in with an outside chance of mounting a championship fight in the second half of the season, but these mistakes are just killing it, killing any sort of momentum he could have had. Obviously, massive gift being able to race in the McLaren around tracks with high tyre deg like Fuji and like Laguna. Now is he going to take it right here? He doesn't race with traction control, which that corkscrew without traction control is very hazardous. Meanwhile, G-Dan, you can see, has a couple of assists on there. And I guess his reward is a 2-second lead, I'd assume, from Wack, who just power slid through turn 2 there. Tap, solid P3. He's not too far behind these two, actually. Then Pagel, P4, Hurricane completes the top 5. So no one else, by the looks of it, is trying a 2-stop. Kanata only just ahead of Higgsy. Let's ride on with Higgsy as he went over the curb really aggressively there and lost a bit of momentum. But I have a feeling, well, JMS falling into Kanata's field of vision as well. Oh, really wide corner there from Higgsy, but managed to keep it out of the dirt. Tap is ahead of Wack. What's happened here? Oh no. Wack's gone too wide. This is the McLaren clown show, honestly, this race. Yeah, that's not... You have to turn for that corner. And he had quite a big lead. He was closing in on G-Dan. He had quite a big lead on Tap there. And now is he going to go too wide into the corkscrew? Yeah. And manages to keep it pointing the right way, which is a 1-up on his teammate. But he does lose P2 as a result. This could potentially give G-Dan the victory here, because now he's got quite a huge lead over Tap and Wack. And also great news for Pagel, who is not far away from that McLaren. On the medium tyres, the harder tyres, they should be a little bit better now. Obviously they're keeping the Toyotas on track, which the soft tyres are not keeping the McLarens on track. So we know that for a fact. So let's see if Pyro set a 24.1 that previous lap, so still not great. Let's see if he can get back into the 23s at least here. Oh, 22.7. So he needs, like I said earlier, he needs that for the rest of the race if he's going to salvage a result. And Nectar's not actually closed the gap. His first lap there, he's on softs again. His first lap there was a 22.8. Obviously he didn't put any fuel in as well, so that's a pretty poor lap. He wants to be in the 21s basically for the first 4 or 5 laps of the stint before the tyres start going off, if he's going to make this 2-stopper work. Meanwhile, G-Dan's front right tyre is pretty dead at the moment. We've still got another maybe 2 laps before the ideal hitting time is for everyone, essentially. And G-Dan is carrying on. Taps on the mediums, he's probably going to go a little bit longer than 15 laps. Because he's still got plenty of life left in those medium tyres. Oh, no. The McLaren Clown Show continues. He's not even under any threat here, and he just goes into the gravel. And that is a huge mistake for the Constructors' Championship. The swing in points in favour of Toyota was quite substantial there, losing 3 positions for McLaren, and both Toyotas gaining a position each. But the McLarens carry on dead tyres. Higgsy is the second driver to come into the pits here, so I don't know if he's going to put on mediums to the end. That might be a good idea. Didn't make the most of that soft stint at all, if that's what he is ending up doing. So G-Dan in the 24s the last 2 laps. 24.7 because these tyres have well and truly gone off. Tap 23.8, so he's managed to reel in G-Dan by a full second there. And he's starting to see him in the distance a little bit as we're approaching corners. Hurricane managed to get past Pagel at one point, so Pagel made a mistake on the previous lap which we missed. I won't go back and find it. Let's just assume he did what Pyro did. And that gives Hurricane a little advantage in the teammate battle there. He's getting closed in on by JMS, who's having the Peugeots are doing pretty good at the end of this stint. Pagel has dived into the pits, whereas his teammate hasn't, so he'll get the undercut on his teammate. Let's see what's going on a little bit further back. Oh, we got Nectar neck and neck with Pyro here. Pyro did a 24 something in the previous lap, but his tyres are completely dead. He's holding up Nectar, who won't want to be losing any time, as we've got Wack and Pagel in the pits now, and this undercut should be pretty good for Nectar because these guys have to put in fuel as well, but he needs to be getting past this really slow McLaren in front of him. Oh, look at the difference in grip. Nectar having to back out of the corner because Pyro's car was struggling to take it so much. Now Nectar's making mistakes of his own. I've got Pagel coming out. He's going to be comfortably ahead of Higgsy. There's Higgsy taking turn 1, and he should be in turn ahead of Wack, who's just coming out of the pits now. So meanwhile, G-Dan set a 24.1, so a slightly better lap there. He is finally coming into the pits. Let's see. I'm expecting Tap to stay out. He does on those medium tyres. He's still got plenty of life left in them, which is more than could be said for anyone else. He's managing his tyres much better than these other drivers. Hurricane also into the pits, just a lap later than his teammate. GMS carrying on, so we've got Peugeot 1-2 for now. Kanata also carrying on his medium, so maybe these guys will be strapping on softs for the second half of the race. And then I'm fully expecting Nectar, because Pyro's gone into the pits, which has released Nectar. I'm expecting Nectar to be comfortably in P4 here. Just a reminder, he hasn't put in fuel, whereas these other drivers have. So he's comfortably through. G-Dan coming out of the pits now. And he is going to be ahead of Moose King, so he doesn't have to try and pass Moose King, which is good news for him. He's got an absolutely massive lead, actually, on the next guy who pitted, which is Pagel. So Pagel ahead of Higgsy. Hurricane just coming out, he's been overtaken by both of these in the pit sequence. And Wack on the back of them, and then Pyro is the last one out of the pits, down in P11. He doesn't have to make a stop, whereas some of the other guys still do. Maybe might get an undercut on 1 or 2 people, but he's miles away from anyone at the moment. Meanwhile, Tap lapping in the 24s right now, carrying on for another lap. JMS is not, because his tyres haven't been managed as well as Tap's, so he is coming in. Let's see if he pops on the softs or not. I think you could go to the softs at the end. But this Peugeot, the problem is as soon as the rears go, it's Spin City for the Peugeots, so it's Tricky game to play with this high tyre wear that we've got this season. G9 doing a soft, is that what that says? Yeah. Yeah, lots of guys in tier 1 and 2 tried softs. I think it was the fastest for certain cars. Not every car obviously can pull it off. JMS going on the mediums again. We've got Whack and Hurricane pretty close together now, so I'm guessing Hurricane made a little mistake because Whack wasn't that close to him. And we got the two cars ahead, Pagel and Higgsy. Higgsy trying to get past Pagel into the start of lap 16. So the tours have fallen away from each other for the first time in this race. First time all week really. Hurricane falling backwards a little bit as he's looking in his mirrors, and well, both Toyotas looking at the mirrors at this stage. Pagel on the mediums again, actually as is Hurricane, and that is why they are under a lot of threat at the moment. Short shifting to third gear down the corkscrew. That's an interesting strategy. Well, whatever you could do to stop yourself from spinning, which the McLaren seems to like to do. Who's king in the pits now, as is Tap. So let's join with Tap. Looks like he's lost out to G-Dan, but he's going to slot into second place, right in between G-Dan and Pagel as he rounds the pit exit, which is also turn 1. He's got fresher tyres, he is on softs. G-Dan is on slightly more worn softs, so it's going to be a question of who can manage these tyres better for the rest of the race. Pole position at the moment belongs to G-Dan. He's got quite a lead, I want to say 4-ish seconds on Tap at the moment. Nectar, of course, trying the 2-stop. He is quite a way up the field, and Kanata is currently in the race lead because he still has a pit off those mediums. So he's making these tyres go an incredibly long time, but he's basically a pit stop down on Nectar, and he finally dives into the pits, which means Nectar's going to retake the race lead for the first time since he made his pit stop on lap, I think it was 9, but he'll have to come in for his second stop fairly soon and put in fuel, just like what Kanata's doing now, so potentially battling with Kanata for the rest of the race in terms of finishing positions. G-Dan's going to take P2 off of Kanata, and he's got a comfortable lead. He set a 22.6 for his first lap out of the grid. This is Tap's out lap, 25.6. I don't know if that's good or not, to be fair. Pagel in the 22s, just where he needs to be. Higgsy in the 23s. Hurricane at the 22s, anyone else in the 22s, JMS is in the 22s, and Pyro's actually in the 21s right now, 21.5, set the fastest lap of the race just now, and he's gonna get Kanata, or is he? It's difficult to tell with the way that the pit exit is. Kanata's obviously got like a huge undercut inside there, but Pyro actually gets past Kanata, which means he'll be quicker than Nectar at the moment as well, so he's in a net P8, and he has a lot of work to do, but he is putting in purple sectors, beating his own previous fastest lap there, so he's found his rhythm finally in this race, and he's playing a massive catch-up on the rest of the field. Now let's rejoin this battle between Higgsy and Pagel, very close between these two at the moment still. Oh, Higgsy has a run. Pagel decides to go slightly defensive into the corner, doesn't take the full width of the track. Really does on the exit though, almost too far to get a penalty, but he definitely got away with that. Higgsy's right in the slipstream, but still not going to get close enough to make a move. Pagel goes defensive anyway into turn 1. And quite wide on the exit there. Higgsy puts a wheel on the dirt, which won't have helped things. Pagel comfortably in P4 still, because he's not making a mistake essentially. and this is the perfect kind of strategy for Pagel. Keep the soft tyre behind, and then the soft tyre is eventually going to fall off before the medium does, and Pagel will be able to drive away from him. This is the only battle I think we've got on the track. Actually, we've got Hurricane and Wax. Hurricane's still holding up Wack on those medium tyres. Wack is burning through these softs though, pretty quickly. Nectar in again for his second stop, so we're expecting him to come out behind Pyro, so keep an eye on that. Oh, not again. Oh dear. Well, that might be a free position for his teammate at least. The McLaren clown show continues. How many times am I going to say that? Oh, Pyro goes off! What did he do? Come on, lads. Come on. Really strange line in, and he goes way too wide. He didn't actually lose too much time. It's not worth a soundboard moment for Pyro, that one. Maybe we'll get another one before the end of the race, let's see. Now, Nectar is currently refueling. Let's join him and see if he comes out ahead of Wack. That is absolutely perfect for Nectar. There goes Pyro. So I think that position's lost. Wack is just coming in to screen. Well, he should be on the right somewhere. There he is. He just saw him for a quick split second. And oh, he manages to just get Nectar, but Nectar's got the fresher tyres and he hasn't had his spins. Oh, Wack off the track. This is a perfect opportunity for Nectar. If he nails this next corner, he's going to have a beautiful run on Wack. He actually goes pretty wide at the corner, and he doesn't have as good a momentum unless he decides to chuck it, but he's way too far back to even contemplate a move there, and Wack lives another day at least. Oh, but Nectar's still got a run on him. Could lead to something in the corkscrew. Wack managed to negotiate that left turn a little bit better, but is he going to be able to take the corkscrew? It's a low percentage of success chance there, but he managed to do it this time and actually gapped Nectar a little bit as well. So Pyro up into P7, JMS is comfortable P6 at the moment on the softs, so I wonder if Pyro will close the gap, because we know Pyro's got a little bit more pace. He's at 21.5 for 2 laps in a row. This one 22.2, so not as quick. So the softs started to lose their shine a little bit on that. What's happening a little bit further up? Higgsy's still stuck behind Pagel. Hurricane all on his own now because he saw off the challenge from Wack. What's going on at the front? A 23.2 for Gdan, not the best lap for him, compared to a 22.5 per tap, so 0.8 of a second tap has reeled in Gdan at the moment, so still fairly comfortable for Gdan with 10-ish minutes to go. Oh, really erratic entry into that corner from Pagel. Maybe he had a tighter line, he was going a bit defensive, but he kind of took a slick shot out of the corner and managed to gap Higgsy a little bit, but still the soft tyres seem to be the better tyre at this stage. Higgsy really gentle on his tyre wear, which is having a big impact in his race. Maybe that's why he won in Bathurst as well. It seems to be really good on his tyres. A little bit of a tyre whisperer we've got here in Higgsy. I haven't slandered you unfairly, let's just say that. Pyro's got it worse than you, Wack, so don't worry. Oh, really close this final, this battle for the final place on the podium. Looks like we've got some battles starting to form a little bit further behind as well, but let's stick with Pagel for now. He's going defensive here, and oh, Higgsy was thinking, can I make a move around the outside? But the camber of that corner makes it impossible, and Pagel wins again. Lots of little, oh, he's gone, oh no, he's gonna, oh no, Pagel's race is pretty much done for there. Higgsy nearly went into the back of him, managed to duck out of it at the last second. and that means Pago is down into 7th, and Pyro is up into 5th. So how did he get past JMS? Okay. Oh, is he going to go? No, he doesn't go wide there, actually. I thought he was going to. Is it going to be at the corkscrew? Is Pyro going to have some good fortunes at the corkscrew? Oh, dear. Little mini spin for JMS, and he loses that position. And then Pyro gets ahead of Hurricane as well. Not Hurricane, Pagel, who's down in 8th and under pressure from Kanata now. Nectar up into P7, remember he is our only 2-stopper of the race. So he's, remember he started on pole and he's now recovered into P7 with just over 8 minutes left of this race. And Pagel's tyres are pretty dead compared to Kanata's as well. Remember Kanata really stretched that first stint out a lot, and this is the time of the race where that's going to start really benefiting him, and it might start with overtaking Pagel fairly soon. Our race 1 winner should have had a double podium. That's definitely not going to happen now. Yeah, you could just see the superior grip through that corner. To be honest, he could even do a move into the corkscrew and probably make it work with the difference in tyres, but he doesn't know what Pagel's tyres are like. He's not been around him all race. Oh yeah, stick it to the inside, stick it. Oh no, can't do it. Now he's lost a little bit of momentum as well, but you could get a really good exit in this final corner. Yeah, here we go. This should be it, surely. Come on, where's that dodge power? Here it is. Into turn 1. Oh, he backs out of it. And Pagel survives again. But this is really ruining Kanata's strategy. He should be absolutely flying right now, not setting off 24.4. But every corner Pagel is defending quite robustly here, keeping the position. Just having a quick look at the constructors as it stands. So this is going to be a very good race now for the Mercedes boys. P1 and P3 as it stands. So another team to really think about: the McLarens, the Mercedes, and the Toyota FT1s. Nearly lost it, did Kanata. Let's see what's going on elsewhere. Nectar is starting to catch JMS. He's lapping a second quicker. Pyro all on his own in P5 at the moment. Then it's Hurricane in P4. Higgsy in P3. But look at his front right tyre. It is... no, it's rear right, I should say. It's nearly gone. I'm not sure if that's going to last another 5 minutes. Well, I can tell you it's definitely not. From experience, you can't get 5 minutes out of that. So he might have some trouble at the end of the race. G-Dan's front tyres, these guys must have different brake balance. Either that or their driving styles are completely different, because G-Dan's front tyre is nearly dead and Higgsy's rear is a little bit better, but nearly dead as well. And Tap's tyres are still looking very fresh. Half a second quicker than G-Dan on that last lap, so still reeling him in, but not close enough quite yet to get a move done. Still advantage G-Dan, but they could be very, very close at the end of the race. Pyro a little bit too far behind, I think, and his tyres nearly dead. Actually, his tyres are in pretty similar nick to G-Dan. Nectar's managed to get past JMS. Let's see what happened there. Oh, JMS just loses it a little bit around the corner and gives that position to Nectar. Now this Pagel still holding Kanata up here. assuming Pagel's got a Logitech wheel with that livery. It's surely only a matter of time before Canada gets him, because the difference in tyres is insane at this point. He's in the slipstream, it's just a very, very short straight, and it's up a hill, down a hill. There is a hairpin coming up. Canada tried to have a look, but the door got shut, which was completely fair as well. And Pagel driving incredibly well defensively here. Canada just can't do anything to get past. Canada isn't going for any crazy moves like we see happen quite often in ALR. He's just being patient, which is a difficult thing to do when you know that you've got the pace on someone ahead of you. So that just goes to show that these two are racing pretty good here. Whackjam's down in 10th, by the way. G-Dan is at 23.4 at the moment compared to 22.6, so Tap is very, very close to G-Dan now. Maybe 2 seconds, I want to say. Maybe less than 2 seconds is the gap at the moment. G-Dan's lap at 23.7 compared to a 22.6, so that's 1.1 seconds Tap is quicker. He's definitely got a lot more pace than G-Dan at this stage of the race. Higgsy, with his nearly dead rear tyre, that isn't telling us what the lap time was. I think it's the 24.6, so not very good for him. Hurricane's 23.7, not very good either. No one's lapping well anymore, apart from potentially Tap. Now we've got a drag race between Pagel and Kanata. Finally, we're going to get an overtake here, potentially. Kanata's got the inside line as well. He just needs to stick the apex, and it'll be done and dusted for him. And he's got it finally into P8 for Kanata, with just a couple of laps left to go. I think 3 laps? I can't remember how many laps the race was. Now let's join the top 2. Let's ride on board with Tap, because we are very close together now. Tap is like I said, is the only one lapping in the 22s. G-Dan's still having good pace, but yeah, Tap really saving his tyres for the end of the race. Should be good to understand how he's saved them so well, because I don't think the Peugeot's that good on tyres. It's interesting though, because cars can have good, better or worse tyre wear depending on the track. So maybe this is just a good tyre wear track for the Peugeot for whatever reason. Brakes incredibly late compared to G-Dan, closed the gap massively into turn 1. And now we are probably less than half a second distance between P1 and P2 in the battle for the lead. Kanata's also got past JMS, so let's rewind that. Let's see how Kanata has got another position there. JMS just has no speed at the moment. His tyres are completely gone, to be fair to him, and he goes a little bit wide there and surrenders that position to Kanata. Now back into this battle for the lead. Like I said, we've only got about half a second in it between these two. How rare is reaching 290? If you got slipstream on Le Mans, you can reach 290, but I don't think you can do it. Oh, maybe the same in Nürburgring, Nordschleife on the straight. I don't think anywhere else has a straight long enough to get anywhere close to 290. Potentially Daytona, with slip, and bump draft. Oh, Tap's going for it! Oh no, where's that come from? And I think he backs. Oh no, I thought he was going to back out of it, because that was a bit of an overly ambitious move there. But he's actually got the position. We need to definitely rewind that and see it again. So this is very similar to the other Tap move that we saw, where he was just incredibly late on braking. I think it's another mistake, to be honest. I don't think he meant to go for an overtake there. G-Dan does leave him the room, and he gets that position. And that's potential. Oh, G-Dan's going for it. He's not having it. G-Dan's not happy with losing that position, and he's trying to defend. And Tap gets the inside line. G-Dan tried to block him off, but Tap found a little bit of space there in the last corner to get the position. And this should be him off on the final lap. Let's see what's going on a little bit further back. We're going to see some checkered flags here. We got 10 seconds left. It's not going to be these guys. Hurricane's managed to get past Higgsy as we start the final lap. Higgsy doesn't have enough fuel, and he is stopping on the line. He shouldn't be stopping on the line. You should just keep going. It doesn't matter. So that gifts Pyro P4 and Nectar P5. Kanata ends up in P7 at the end. He's nearly out of fuel, so good job he didn't make the final lap because he wouldn't have been able to do it. So that is going to... you can see Higgsy with completely no fuel left, but still managed to start the last lap. Kanata P7. Pagel did get past JMS, so he's recovered into P8. And despite that, he's going to take the championship lead with it. P9 for JMS. It's going to be 10th for Wack and 11th for Moose. But let's see what's happening at the front. Tap has already gapped about a second and a half to G-Dan. Hurricane, who got past Higgsy because he ran out of fuel, is in P3, a comfortable P3. Pyro is getting chased down pretty quickly here from Nectar. Remember, these guys are on completely different strategies. Pyro's been in the wall 2 or 3 times, but... So it's going to, well, it's advantage Pyro, but he doesn't have the time. Oh, never mind. Just as I said, Nectar could have had a run on him. Nectar makes a mistake and lets Pyro gap him a little bit. But let's join Tap at the front. He's going to take his second feature race win in a row. It's very difficult to win the feature race, and he's managed to do it twice in a row, has Tap. So very, very good performance for him. Race winner, G-Dan, P2. He might be a little bit cheesed off at that, to be honest. Hurricane is going to round the final corner and take a P3, so double podium there for Hurricane. Very good result for him in the Toyota, and that's where his teammate Pagel should have been as well, to be honest. Pyro P4, Nectar in P5 with his 2-stop strategy. Higgsy's out of fuel, so he is going to take P6. Let's have a quick look at the standings for tier 3. So we've got Pagel in the lead, despite getting 8th place there. He's got a 123 points. In second place...
Oh, who's that? It's Pyro!
In second place is Pyro with 120, so he's only 3 points behind Pagel. Despite what we witnessed today, he's 3 points behind. He should have quite a commanding lead in the championship if he hadn't have made any mistakes here. And then we have Hurricane in P3, 15 points behind, and then Tap is 16 points behind in P4. 17 points behind is Wack despite his nightmare today. 20 points behind is Woozy despite missing the round. So he's dropped from 1st to 6th place, and he's 20 points behind Pagel. So the top 6 all separated by 20 points with 6 races left of the season. It could really go to anybody. High speed tracks next should suit the Toyota boys a little bit more than the rest of the drivers in that top 6. So potentially advantage Pagel in this championship, but you'll have to tune in next week to see what actually happens.